Cam arall na gosach. Yes! Good afternoon, welcome back to the channel. What is episode 25, and today I'll be fitting the new radiator onto the car. I won't be filling it with coolant today, but it'll be nice to just get the last one bit under the bonnet sorted out. Yesterday I refitted the driver's side caliper back on. Tighten everything down, tightened everything, thread lock and the right bolts, and so the brake system is ready for filling up and bleeding. So what I intend to do is today fit the radiator, fasten all the tighten down all the clips, and on Saturday fill the coolant system and check for leaks. Do the same with the brake system. I'll pressure bleed it with my easy bleed, again checking for leaks, and hopefully not having too many issues with bleeding it. Shouldn't be too bad because it's just a master cylinder on this. There's no ABS motor or anything on it. So that's the two jobs for the weekend. However, before I can bleed the cooling system on this, I am still waiting for the pressure regulator gauge for the fuel pressure regulator. Like I mentioned earlier on, I might have mentioned earlier on, I can't remember. I've slept since, but at the minute it fires up, the car fires up, no issues, but it just gets a little bit rich on idle. So having had a look at the gauge, I strategically placed it facing into this way into the gaps so I can have a look through between the top panel, the slant panel, and the headlamp. So it's been reading just below 5 bar, so that it shouldn't need any more than 3 bar. So I've adjusted it, I've opened it to reduce the pressure on the gauge. Nothing happens. No matter what I do, which way I turn it, nothing. It doesn't change the reading on the gauge. So I think either the gauge is knackered or the regulator's knackered. So I've decided first off to try a new gauge, because it looks like it's had a knock and a bang here and there. So I'm not convinced that the gauge is working properly. If I don't get any joy with that, then what I intend to do is I'll probably go to the Satchel Weber standard 3 bar pressure regulator housing, and I'll have to reconfigure a little bit of the plumbing if I do that, because of course with the Satchel it goes in and comes out, it's directly in line, as opposed to the configuration of this. I'm hoping I won't have to get to that get that far down the road. Hopefully that the gauge will work, and it'll help sort the situation out, but you never know with these things. So yeah, so that's one of the things I need to do before I can run the engine idle for any length of time. I need to make sure it's not over fueling, running properly, so the plugs don't foul, and then I can get it to temperature and basically just bleed the coolant system, and we're then pretty much down to fitting the rear window and sorting out the near side electric window that worked before I stepped the car. It's not working at the minute. I don't know what's gone wrong with that, but suffice to say we will get it sorted out. I found out that it wasn't working prior to removing the the windows from the doors and then moving the doors, because I temporarily connected the loom to the battery back to the car, because I thought I might have to wind the windows down to remove the regulators. Then I realised I didn't have to, and that's at that point I discovered that the passenger window wasn't working. It was before I'd stripped and worked the bits under the bonnet. I hadn't touched any of the bits of the loom. At that point, the loom on the car hadn't been disconnected from the car to the door even. So I'm not quite sure what's caused it, but you know, we'll get it sorted out. I bench tested the regulator, the passenger side regulator, and it worked. You know, Crocodile clipped it to a battery, and it worked both ways. So the motor is fine. But yeah, there's something in line that's not working, so I'll have to do continuity checks on the loom. I have got the other doors, as you might recall, so I've got 2 looms there, and we'll have a look and see what's going on. Once that's sorted, I can put the door cards back on, then I can refit the glove box and stuff like that on that I took off to get the kick panel out for painting. Once they're sorted out, I can then refit the stereo, put the seats back on, put the suede steering wheel that I bought and tested briefly back on, hopefully with a new DR Motorsports centre badge on it, which I'm working on at the minute, and that'll be the interior pretty much finished, and indeed the whole car ready for MOT at that point. So I'm really getting quite excited now, because it'll look as good as it sounded in the past. So but yeah, that's it anyway. For now, I'm going to get cracking. We're going to take the slam panel off, grill slam panel off, gain access to the radiator cowling, and we will get the new radiator fitted. But before that, we're going to swap over the radiator onto this cowling and take all the clips and bits off the existing old radiator. So see you in a minute. Right then, let's get the grill off. Grill on these are mounted with 2 bolts at the top here, and then there's 3 prongs that come from the grill frame. One into there, one into here, and then there's one that you can't see behind the lion badge, and it goes into the back of the cowling. Of course, it goes into a rubber grommet on each one. So let's get this off and slam panel off and away. Again, I'm going to put this in the car because I don't want it scratched. There you go. Happy days. That's out of the way. Now, we've got access to the, let's put that there for a minute. So this goes back to the header tank. We have top hose, lower hose, and now we've got our cowling. One of the things I noticed when I had the grill on was that this grill was slightly lower by about 4 or 5 mil ish. So I'm gonna, this was down a little bit lower than the other side. So I'm gonna space this off a little bit. This is elongated, so I think I can get away with this on the slam panel. But it'll all fit in nicely. So that hose is there, is out of the way, all the looms, it's all nice and tidy, ready to go really. So what we'll do next is go ahead and swap a couple of bits off. I've already swapped the temperature switch for the radiator. I've already swapped that over, so we'll see in a minute. Right then, okie dokie. So here we have the old radiator, really tired, completely abused, and as you probably recall from the early doors, completely and utterly incorrectly mounted. So to recap, I have removed a temperature switch and fitted it onto the new radiator. Put that there for a minute. New radiator, a Mi16 unit, and pretty well made actually. I'm quite impressed with it. And so we have the temperature switch there. I need to take these end caps off, or blanking caps. Really useful actually, and it'll be handy for something else at some point in time. So that's ready to go. I've already blown through with a slight blast with the air gun through it, just to make sure there's no crap and crud that can go anywhere else with it. So the radiator is held on to the fan cowling with this spring clip arrangement. So basically you've got a rubber mount that goes in below the spring, and basically it pulls down and traps it in situ. So I'm going to do that, and as you can see, it's split that way. You have two prongs on the bottom of the radiator that engage onto the engages into the cowling. As you can see, one down there, possibly, no, one there and one there. Although this is completely ruined, as you can see with the one on the car, there's flanges up here, there's two securing points. This was obviously in the car. If you go back to a very early episode, it was basically mounted almost on a 45 degree, and it was just doing absolutely nothing to keep the car cool. It was running really hot when I first got it. So I'm going to set this tripod up here, just use the dodgy camera angle for the minute, get these spring clips off and out from the cowling. 1, 2. Same with this one here. Pull that in, pull it out. 1, 2. That way. Nothing else for these. So out the way. To get the radiator to here. So with there, this one, just make sure everything goes in the right way. So a couple of inches away from that, and straight away we've got a little bit of an issue here actually, because this is not going to go in. It goes into that one, goes into this one. That's definitely the top outlet. Bottom hose, yeah. So straight away we've got a slight issue with the rubber. So what I'm going to do is I'll trim. Hope you can see this. Can you see? Yeah. The rubber of the radiator is a little bit too shallow for the rubber, so I'm going to trim it along here, make it a nice snug fit, and get it to fit. In the meantime, I'm going to put the spring clips onto the cowling. So I'll see you in a minute. Right, welcome back. I've slotted the radiator into situ, and as I was getting the clips on the rubbers ready, I then realised that the fan cowling housing is completely different. It's completely different to the one that was previously fitted, and in essence, although it fits into the base mounts, we have a bit of an issue here where it's clashing on there, which is not a bad thing. It's not we're not going to rub through or anything. It's decent enough. I'm happy with that. It's just missing on this one, so I'm going to space that out using one of these packers. So off camera, I've had a bit of a think. I'm looking at these have got the steps on them, slots, so it'll stop them from dropping down, so that maintains a near perfect gap all the way across. So my attention then drew to the brackets or the clamps, or how am I going to actually hold it pull the radiator nice and snugly onto the fan cowling. So I thought, right, I had to rummage through the box of bits I've got here, and two bits sprung to mind. So these things here, whether you'll recognise them or not, I'm not sure. However, what they are is they are the clips that go onto the bottom or the inside of the doors, and they hold the central locking and electric window loom snug against the door. So I thought, oh, I could use one of them. So what I've come up with is, so that it doesn't rub through the top of the radiator, I'm going to use this convex section, so it fits nicely on there. And what I'm going to do is obviously get the rubber packer in there, figure out where I need to adjust this to hold it nice and tight. I'm going to drill this a little bit bigger, drill a hole in the cowling so I'll clear away from everything else. Do the same here. I've done this one here because of course there's a slightly different angle on this, so this will go into there. It's not on the final angle just yet, and onto there. So I think that'll do the job quite nicely actually. You're not going to even see it really with the slam panel on. You might see this one actually, I'm not sure, but it'll be all painted nice and black. So yeah, fairly elegant solution. And when if I need to change radiator at some point, it'll be really easy to take off because there'll be stainless steel nuts and bolts holding them onto the cowling, and of course with the rubber packer here to maintain an equal gap between the cooling fan cowling and the rad itself. So that's where it's at the minute. I'm going to measure up the brackets. I'll be drilling them, and I'll show you when I fit them what they look like. So I'll see you in a minute. Right, welcome back. Painted the brackets that I just shown you. Put some Raychem heat shrink on just to provide a little bit of a buffer between these and the actual and the radiator themselves. So let's get fitting them. So I'm just going to transfer. If you give me a minute, I'll transfer you onto the big tripod. So give me both my hands because I'm going to need it with this. See you in a second. Right then, welcome back. So this is the bracket that's going to go onto this one, onto here. I'm going to put the actual bracket itself underneath the fan cowling. I'm using a small M3 bolt with a small nylock nut, so hopefully I'll get this through the hole into there. Right, we're through. Okay, so we've got the rubber buffer in here. I need to cut this one very quickly before we carry on. So to hold the nut on the spanner, put some masking tape underneath it, so it gives me an extra hand. So I'll wind this down. Okay, that's now started. Right, that's nice and tight. The bung isn't going to go anywhere in a hurry. Now for this one, just going to weigh up the angle on this again. Yeah, I think that will do. So I'm just gonna mark off the line on this. Let's have a look. So I'll mark that off there, one there. Bear with me a minute, I'm just going to cut this down to size. Okie dokie, that's that one cut down to size. Of course I'm going to use the slots there to help keep this in situ. I'm going to put that in the middle there. So I'm going to offer up the clip, clamp, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, that's already going to start pulling tightly. And again, I'm going to use the same trick. Hopefully you can see that there. Can you see that? Yeah. Right. Okie dokie. Let's get that through there. Let's get this spinning through. Right. Okay. So that's now pulling through. Okay. Right, that's tight. Perfect. As you can see, it's working on there. It's not going to come off. And the two rubber buffers preventing the radiator from rubbing against the cowl. So yeah. Right. Back to the start, which was fitting a radiator. In my mind, was going to be a nice straightforward job. So right, okay, so one of the things I noticed as well was the top hose seems to be a little bit on the long side of this. So we'll tackle that in a minute. Let's have a go. So I'm going to put this pipe onto there. Jubilee clip over it there. Should I do the Jubilee clip first? Probably yes. Not much room there, is there? But never mind. Let's give it a go. Put that there. Right. Get that there. Out the way. Oh, everything's resisting going on this evening. Bloody hell, this isn't... What a nightmare. Okay. Right, screw that. I'm going to use another clip. This is the one. A nice little clip. That'll do. Nice slim clip. Let's get this a bit smaller first. Right. Here's my pipe. Where's my piping? Right. Okay, I'll try this again. Try not to scratch the car to bits. What an absolute, what a stupid idea. Is that close? It's a struggle to get the clip over. And this is a nice thin clip as well, this. Wow, how crap is that? Wow, totally shit. That is really, really not very good. Wow, that is shocking, really. Come on. Wow, that's bad. You know what? This is really, really piss poor. I'm going to be careful here. I don't want to snap the end off the snap the little pipe off. Wow, this is absolutely crap. Really, really crap. How close is that to this? What a shit design. Absolute crap. Wow, that's absolutely rubbish. I think we're home now. But wow, how poor was that? Wow. Pretty bad design. Really bad design, actually. Wow. That's shocking. That is one of the worst I've seen in a long time. This should be one of the easy little pipes to put on. But, wow. That's terrible. That really was. That really is a terrible, terrible design. How close? Wow. I have to snap this clip. A bit smaller so it doesn't hit the radiator. Right then, so we've got the little clips now that sit on here. So we had one there, and of course they don't fit, do they? Nah, it would be too good too unrealistic to expect anything to go right. Because let's be honest, it's turning into one of those evenings. I'll see you in a minute. Right, welcome back. So now we have the clip fitted. Let's get some light. So we have the clip fitted, nice tight fit. So the rubber is maintaining the space, and the other one is now nicely fitted. No issues at all with any movement. Nice and tight. No rattles, no movements. So I need to fit the bottom hose. I've already tightened this one off with great difficulty. 2 clips on the top for the overhead tank. To the header tank, I need to position this securely. I'll probably tie wrap it nice and snugly onto there, and I'll do something with this one so it's nice and tidy. And happy days. I'm going to go ahead, tighten up the bottom hose. The top hose, as I've said earlier, seems a little bit long. I'll work something out with that one, because when it's fitted there's almost like a kink on the main 90-degree bend, so I'm not happy with that. But we'll sort that out in a bit. I'll see you in a bit. Right, welcome back. There's the top hose fitted, and bottom hose obviously is done. Then the bleed pipe on the top, just need to clip that back in there, lovely and snug. So basically I just need to put this stuff back in. So what I have done, I've replaced the washer jet pump. I'm going to be ultra careful this time not to squish it with this, and I've bent a little bit of the bracket, so there's plenty of space in there now. So yeah, lesson learnt on that one. So I'm going to fit the slam panel back on, and fit a P-clip that I forgot about on the side here. I took it out to fit the catch tank, so I need to refit that back on the back of the nut there. Tidy up the loom, lift it up a little bit actually. So yeah, there we go. It's all done and dusted now, nice and roomy in there. So yeah, lesson learned. I'll want to buy another pump, but no hardship. It's going to go on into the rear washer bottle anyway. Yeah, happy days. I'll see you in a minute when everything's back on. Well, welcome back. That's the slam panel fitted, the grill refitted. Like I said earlier, I'm going to make some custom washers for the grill so that it all gets clamped down nicely. All the cables all tidied, all the pipes tidied up. So there's nothing close. Well, that pipe is close-ish now to the radiator, but it's a whole world better than it was when I first got the car. So yeah, we're ready to. I've checked all the clips on the water or the cooling system side of it. It's all good, happy with that. But yeah, so we're good for brake fluid and coolant. Once I buy the coolant and the brake fluid, I have that yet to do. Like I said earlier, still waiting for the gauge for the fuel pressure regulator. Yeah, we're in a good place now. I've just sneakily fitted the bonnet seal, and just before I came on, I've given it a good scrub, so it's come up pretty good actually. Really chuffed with that. So so that's done. That's it for this evening, and I'll catch you in a bit